This week's episode is sponsored by the Brilliant Futures Institute.
I looked to the mentors to invest myself in so I would get those results that they've created. I was willing to do that. And for some people, you have to spend thousands of dollars to be fully invested in getting that result from a mentor. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not necessarily needed.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast.
You cannot be a courageous leader if you're not vulnerable.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
Now is the time to take risk.
The way it's always been done isn't necessarily the way it should be done.
What is your dream? What do you think 2050, 2100 is going to look like?
The most incredible sort of mystery, I think, is now the question of what comes next.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters. Visit preeminence.tv to learn more about how to create a preeminent presence for your business, organization, or personal brand. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just ask Alexa to play the Preeminence Podcast.
Today I want to talk to you about mentorship. Mentorship has been around for eons. You have the mentor and you have the apprentice, the people who have done the work, the people who have got the result for themselves and for other people, the masters, the people who are pursuing mastery. Those people take you under their wing and they show you how they got there. They see your situation and they apply their knowledge and their mindset to you and what you say to them you want to create. Many times you want to be just like them, and so they will teach you to be just like them. That is a powerful mentor. I've invested $75,000 with one mentor, another $25,000 and another $25,000, $10,000 for another, $5,000 for a 3-day event, $3,500 for an event. I looked to the mentors to invest myself in so I would get those results that they've created. I was willing to do that. And for some people, you have to spend thousands of dollars to be fully invested in getting that result from a mentor. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's not necessarily needed. Now, I'm a mentor and I'm a coach. And the reason why people invest in themselves through me is because of the discipline, because they have someone keeping them accountable, because when they get stuck, they have someone to customize their responses and to have me listen to them to see where they're at and to give them the next steps, to cut out everything they don't need so they have only the things they do need to move on to the next step towards the goal they said that they wanted. Those are the best mentors. Those are the best coaches that really just give you that 1%, that shot that you need right now to move you to the next step and the next step and the next step, always focusing on the big goal. There's that customization, the specialization. There's the feedback and accountability. That's what a mentor does. I have so many people who I'll be talking to, or they'll be on my webinars, they'll be on a live stream. They say, Matthew, I'd love to be in one of your programs, or I'd love you to mentor me or coach me, but I don't have any money, or I can't afford that. Maybe next month, maybe next year. And it's funny that I have a lot of the same people have been saying that for the last 5 years. It's funny, but it's also sad. But here's the thing, it's a cop-out. People will find the money for the things they find are valuable, and they choose to be all in. But they either don't believe in themselves or they don't believe in you, if you're a mentor. But the other cop-out is they don't need to pay anything for the result. I want you to think about this. Have you ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting? And there's a scene in the bar where this guy that goes to Ivy League school he's memorized all this fancy literature and some teachings from economy class. And Will starts parroting back the things that he remembers, those books that he's read too. He said, I got the same education for $1.50 in late fees at the library, the one that you paid $150,000 for. The lesson here is all the information out there is accessible. But when you're getting information, say from a podcast or a book, or you're reading blog posts, or you're listening to interviews, you're watching somebody on TV, you don't have the feedback. What if you could have mentors who were millionaires and billionaires and they were the most successful in the industry, in the in the results you want to get? What if you could have access to them? I want you to think about podcasts. Right now you're listening to this podcast and it's about mentoring. If you follow someone's mindset through a podcast or their interviews or what have you, you can actually start to think like them. But it's not about the investment of money. It's the investment of your mind. It's the investment of your actions and your commitment to following through on what they say to do. Your commitment to following through on how they live, how they act, what they say, who they are, their discipline. And so when you can have the same decisions as them, you can decide like they do, you can choose like they do, you hold yourself up to that same standard, that's how you get the result. Some people, like me, I had to pay $75,000 to get it. Other people, they can read a book from the library and they get it. But where are you? So when you are listening to a podcast, are you listening to it multiple times? Are you doing 5 other things and it's just kind of background noise? Or are you actually like, I really want to know how this person thinks. I want to know how they got to selling a $100 million company. I want to know how they got that type of body. I want to know how they solidified their relationship. I want to know how they went all in and they came out and just were a powerful communicator. So I'm going to listen and I'm going to take notes, or I'm going to take note, and I'm going to start taking actions as they say to do, and I'm going to be consistent on it. And if there's any way possible for me to connect with them via email, via low entry level group, there's some groups out there with the highest level thinkers and doers that are $35 a month. It's crazy the access that you have to these people now. You have their books. You have their autobiographies, biographies. You have their woe to win, their success story. You'll have them tell you exactly what they do. One of the guys that was my mentors early on was Brendan Burchard. Now I had gone to, I think, 4 of his multi-day seminars. So, I mean, I think the longest one I went to of his was 4 days. And I probably paid him and his people probably $12,000. Just say $12,000 plus everything to get out there and hotel and everything. So I really invested in this mentor. And one time I was at an Armin Morin event and it was about writing your own book, being an author. And Brendan was on stage and he was talking about his books. And afterwards, he came off the stage and I had a couple minutes with him. He's just standing in the back. The next speaker was on and I said, Brendan, I have a question for you. I'm about to write this book. And I don't know if I should write it like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki and just kind of give people concepts so they get it, they change their mind, and then I have products and services to sell them. Or should I be like the 4-Hour Work Week and it's a textbook. It's like Everything I Know by Tim Ferriss. And he said, give them everything in the book. I said, but what will I have left? He said, you'll always have more. You will always have more. Give them your best so they'll know you for your best. He said, listen, the same people who buy my $20 book will get the same information going to my $2,000 seminar. They want the experience. It's the same information. So I want you to think about that. If I'm going to go to a $2,000 seminar where 800 people are there and we're jumping up and down and we're listening to them talk and I'm networking, there's a value in that for sure. But if I can get the same information for $20 or even go to the library or listen to somebody read it on YouTube, you can get the same information for free or $20. How sold out to success are you? How committed are you to getting that result? Some people, they aren't even committed spending $25,000. I'm saying spending because they're not using it. And there's other people who will take that $1.50 in late charges at the library and they'll make a fortune. One gentleman wrote a book on video marketing and I followed that model and I applied it to different industries and I made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars by reading a book and highlighting things and making notes. Choose your mentors well, and it doesn't mean you have to pay them anything. I still invest in mentors because I believe in mentoring and I believe in getting that proximity, getting close to them, being able to ask them the questions, getting the feedback, having them hold me to the line, having that high standard, them pushing me, them asking me the tough questions, me being in a group of other people who are going all in. There's a tremendous value to that. And that's why I invest significant amounts of money into that because of all the other things. But if you need the information and you're willing to do the work, you can get some of that for free by listening to a podcast, by reading a book. Here's your assignment. Go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from, and find somebody in the industry you want to grow in to listen to and to mentor you. Literally, you're picking their mind by listening to their episodes and taking notes and taking action. If you don't take any action, you're not going to get any results. You're just going to get more knowledge and not do anything about it. And you're just going to be at the same place next year and 5 years from now as you are right now because you're not taking any action. I'll give you two. One is Ed Milet. Ed Milet has a tremendous podcast. One I highly recommend to you is his interview of Jesse Itzler. I've listened to that over and over and over again because I want to know how Jesse thinks. I want to know how he gets his drive. I want to know what his routines are. Why does he do what he does? I know one of the things is he knows life is short, so he's going to make every hour of every day count. He's going to be present. He is going to have that drive. He's going to have the unlimited energy because he's creating that energy because of what he believes. So Ed Milet interviewing Jesse Itzler, that'd be one I recommend. The second one is Lewis Howes interviewed Dr. Joe Dispenza. So look that up. Dr. Joe Dispenza interviewed by Lewis Howes. Those are two I highly recommend you listen to and find one podcast that you're going to be consistent listening to. Take the notes, take the action, be consistent, and you will get those results they get. That's all I have for this week. Take the action necessary to get those results that you say you want so you're not sitting here in the same seat in the same place next year, 5 years, 10 years from now and wasting your life. Go do something now towards you fulfilling that goal that you said you wanted. I'll be here next week behind this microphone. I'll talk with you then.
Thank you for listening to the Preeminence Podcast. Subscribe to hear powerful interviews and insights each week automatically downloaded the moment they go live. Share this episode with your team, your friends, and post it on social media. Let us know your comments and suggestions for the show at m@ascend.net. That's the letter M at ASYND.net.